All right. So my pain point is that I want to decrease my usage of mainstream media into figuring out, into learning about how heavy the workload is at hospitals and clinics at various places in the world. I want to depend less on mainstream media for that news. One way I can get that news for myself is to look for more independent accounts, smaller accounts, social media accounts of nurses who are detailing their workload and how heavy it is in terms of the coronavirus. It is March 13th, 2020, and I know a lot of people want to decrease their usage on mainstream media. So let's try experiment and find out. Let's try look at Instagram and see how easy it is to follow to get this information and how heavy on how taxed are on how stressed our hospitals and clinics are. So I searched for nurses on Instagram, and then I'm already following this nurse. I'm following this nurse Stefan guy. He has like his own nursing account that he's pimping out. So I'm going to look at it, and right away, once again, I want to find out how overloaded is the hospital or clinic that he works at. This is his latest. Should you be a nurse? So, he has a big social media presence. I don't know if he is the biggest nurse, 55K followers. I'm very interested in just how heavy and how overloaded his hospital is. So that's the first account. Let's go to the second. Nurse Heather May. As nurses, we deliver the same quality of care for each and every patient, regardless of whatever they're inflicted with. Thank you for everyone reach out. Skimming. Currently, my unit hasn't really been affected by the coronavirus, besides closely monitoring patients with symptoms. Other than that, the biggest change I've noticed is a shortage of face masks in the supply room. So that's cool that she immediately. It's cool that the first post she says just how overloaded or not her workplace is. Go back. Yeah, sure. Why not? Follow. I want to get out of my tech bubble. I want to hear the voices of more, social workers, nurses, people who are on the ground dealing with these types of things. Nurse Blake, from his profile pic, I'm just gonna assume he's really going forward with like being a social media star based on his profile pic. Follow this guy. Once again, I want to know how overloaded is your hospital. Skimming. He does not talk about how heavy the current workload is. Nope, this doesn't say anything about how heavy his workload is. Nurse Superhero. There's a 50-50 chance he's not trying to be a social media star based on the profile pic. Okay, so if it says nurse, I'm already pre-stressed for next week, for next semester. So here's something that just because they have nurse in the Instagram name, does that necessarily mean they're a nurse right now? Because this guy could be possibly studying to be a nurse, hence why he identifies with this status. I'm already pre-stressed for next semester. Follow this guy. Nurse Petrosian. Shit, I can't tell if, what the hell is this? Looks like she's an aesthetic nurse injector. I don't know what the exact definition of this is. Aesthetician a thing, or is that even a real something about a nurse who's concentrating on aesthetics? You know what? Let's look at people with more down to earth profile pics. So yeah, once again, I want to depend less on mainstream media on getting the scoop on how individual hospitals and clinics. I want to get the scoop on how overloaded or not they are in where is March 13, 2020. I want to know, I can read headlines about how Italy's hospital system is overworked, overbooked, but it's really nice it would be so nice to be able to, one click, here are nurses who are actually working in Italian hospitals, and get the first-hand accounts of them. And whether or not this information is, hindered because of, laws, or because of ethics, or because of nefarious things going on, that's, something I want to learn about. So I searched for nurse on Instagram. That's accounts. How about tags? Nurse. Let's check hashtag nurse. What can we find here? My boss was saying that the internet in Seattle was being slow yesterday because we're all staying at home and doing Zoom meetings. Once again, the pain point is I want to know as soon as possible just how overloaded hospitals are so I can compare it to what mainstream media is saying. So COVID and Coral. This guy has a sign saying don't use our masks so healthcare workers can use them. So this stats doesn't say anything about how overloaded his place is. He does say only spread credible news from the CDC or trusted healthcare professionals. Let me go back. Let's search nurse life hashtag. This was 21 hours ago. Yeah, I don't know. Shot in the dark. Hashtag hospital status. And there's two, and one has a breathing out, exhausted emoji on it. Nothing. All right, I'll make a part 2 video of this. How about I was going to say, well, if I go to hospitals' various Instagram accounts and see what they're saying, if they are saying anything, but would hospitals have Instagram accounts? They would probably more likely have a dedicated Facebook account. So I'll try that. I'll try those things next.